નમસ્કાર. યુએસના કોન્સ્યુલેટ જનરલ સાથે આજે વાત કરવી છે. શરૂઆત ગુજરાતીમાં કરી રહી છું, એમની સાથેનો આખો ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ ઇંગ્લિશમાં થશે. પણ મને એવું લાગે છે કે સ્ત્રી અને મહિલા સશક્તિકરણ અને આ બધી વાતોને કોઈ બાઉન્ડ્રીઝ નથી હોતી અને કોઈ સરહદો મિટાવી નથી શકતી. અમુક સમસ્યાઓ યુનિવર્સલ છે, આ બધા વૈશ્વિક પ્રશ્નો છે અને એટલા જ માટે એના વિશે એક અમેરિકન દ્રષ્ટિકોણથી વાત કરવી છે અને સમજવી છે. આપણી સાથે યુએસ કોન્સ્યુલેટ જનરલ માઇક હેન્કી છે. થેન્ક યુ સો મચ મિસ્ટર હેન્કી ફોર જોઇનિંગ અસ.
નમસ્કાર, કેમ છો?
નમસ્કાર. અમે એકદમ સરસ મજામાં. હાઉ આર યુ?
Very good. મજામાં.
મજામાં. I heard this phrase many times that, particularly on this Women Day, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So let us start from this phrase only. What's your take on this? Do you really think that men are really aggressive and women are calm, cool, and always like that only?
I think probably we should assess each individual on their own basis and the actions that they show, rather than necessarily making big, broad generalizations. Where we see that people are aggressive, I think we need to address it. One of the things that we've done in the last year, we had an expert in the US who works in what are traditionally thought of as male-only environments, military, firefighting, and works with them to say, how do you need to change your own language? How do you need to change your own actions to create an environment that's more welcoming for everyone? And that even comes to the words that we use. So for example, he said, rather than talking about violence against women, let's talk about who actually commits the violence and call it men's violence against women. So again, the theme of being very specific. And if we do the same with the men are from Mars, women are from Venus, well, you might find out in some cases it's the opposite.
Sure.
But I like to go towards what's the individual action.
True. Ultimately, women are human and men are human.
That's right. You can get the whole range, can't you?
True. You know India since very long. Maybe 30 years ago also you were in India. In 1999 also you were in India.
That's right.
Now again you are in India. So in these many years, what difference you have seen in Indian society, particularly for women?
Yeah. So I see many differences, and some of them are basic and economic. So you've got a lot more opportunities, especially opportunities to be connected globally. One of the things that we work on, though, here in Western India is to bring more women into the formal workforce, because we don't see necessarily that there are the most opportunities for women to do that. We'd like to collaborate with the Indian government, which is pushing so hard, and with great Indian and US companies that are trying to lead the way on that. When I first came to India, there weren't as many US companies here, and now there are. And that speaks to an opportunity, because I want these US companies to extend all the good practices that they have back at home in the US and that they are bringing here. I want them to extend those across their hiring mechanisms, their supply chains, to align themselves with like-minded parties here, because that can make a difference more than just single entities at one time. That's an opportunity I think we have now that wasn't around 3 decades ago.
Okay. Across the globe, do you think that there is a difference between the problems women problems facing in India or in USA? Do you find any connections between women's?
Yeah, there certainly are, and I'm informed on this by the stories that I hear from women rather than trying to guess for myself. And some of the feedback that we've heard is that women especially are looking to fix what we call the leaky pipeline, and that means coming into the workforce, but then maybe exiting for different reasons, and whether that's because they need to care for different members of their family at different ages, not only children but also aging adults, or maybe children who are going through exams. These are things that we hear of as common challenges.
Yes.
You also see that those responsibilities in the US, to some extent, also fall more on women. So how do we address both of our countries? How do we address these challenges? How do we share solutions to them together? The opportunity to do so, I think, is only going to come through really honest conversations among friends. And that's something that India and the US can do. Because ultimately, what do we want? We both want to see inclusive growth. We both want to see our economies involve everyone in society.
And when 50% of population is not participating in any event, how we will grow together?
You need everybody in.
Very true. In India, we have political reservation of 33% just announced, and it will be implicated in 2029. When we see politics across the globe, we find that very few female politicians are on the top and they are running the country. Even US is still not having any women president. What do you think, what is that which is stopping women from leading the country?
Yeah. So in the US, we don't have a reservation or quota system like India
Yes.
does. And it goes back to legal, historical, social factors, that it's not the way that our politics and our society is organized. Instead, we've seen people try to work at a level of trying to get the funding and the financing for campaigns out for female candidates, doing training for women to get into politics, as well as into leadership in various parts of society or business. And I think it's ultimately going to end up being a decision of the American people. Who do they want to see leading them? The American people ultimately are the decision makers in this.
Yes. Lastly, I just want to understand, I was watching some of the American dramas. I observed one thing, that portrayal of women character was like money digging women, girl who is approaching male just for money kind of thing. Is this for real, or this is just portrayal of women of America?
Well, I think in the same way that maybe Bollywood doesn't represent all of India, the entertainment industry isn't necessarily the best representation of real life.
True.
But there's, as I was saying before, the whole range of people in the United States, whether it's men or women. And I actually think that art has a role to play, a transformative role to play in society by getting questions out there. Part of the reason why I'm in Ahmedabad today is for this Gujarati launch of the play Vagina Monologues. And that will, I hope, spur conversations that I've seen in other countries when the play has started, to get people thinking, what's the role of women's society? How do we deal with women's agency and as a person, their power, their decision making? How do we deal with issues of violence? These are questions that art, film, movies, television can help explore. So even if they are fiction.
True. Thank you so much, C.G. Hankey,
Thank
for
you
joining
very much.
us. Maja aavi.
Maja aavi.
Thank you.
Thanks.